And hello, and welcome to Avatar Face to Face. We're so happy you joined us today. My name is Kinch-Thomas, and we like to bring you the news and events happening in arts and culture around Westchester and beyond. Thank you for joining us today, and we have our guest, Barry Mason. We want to welcome him to the show. Barry is a visual artist, a
Yes.
photographer, sculptor, and painter, as well as a
Yeah.
teacher, correct?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much.
Ab-
Pleasure being here, Jewel.
Absolutely. So, we're going to talk a little bit today about your work. And the first thing I'd like to find out from you is when did you know that you wanted to be a visual artist? Where did that come from?
Well, basically, I didn't know exactly, but I've always created ever since I was a little boy. From I don't know, far as I can remember, maybe 5, 6 years old. I was always creating, putting things together, building, and even sometimes I would draw pictures. Let's say of my father sleeping, or what
Oh,
have you, being based out on time he wasn't moving when he was sleeping.
okay.
And then of course, like any young child, drawing pictures, whatever I see in a book, whether it
Right.
be Bambi or whoever,
Mm-hmm.
or what have you. And the building, the same thing. Uh, More so the building aspect. In the sixth grade, I was taking industrial arts in school, and one of my first projects was a pencil holder that our teacher gave us back then.
Right.
And from there, I've just been building ever since. Whether various projects in school, whether it be a spice rack that resides in my parents' house still to the day, or the last big unit was a wall unit I did,
Uh huh.
and in my senior, I think 11th or senior year in school. Uh, During that time period, taking art classes, of course, with everything else you took, your reading, your math, and so on and so
Right.
forth,
Right.
and getting requests. I think my last year in high school, I think I did a actual drawing of a Jimmy Carter, and I think it was Gerald Ford, I believe, that was running against him or what
Right.
have you,
Okay.
and drawing a picture there of them, and whatever else that was part of the school curriculum that they may have wanted us to do
Mm-hmm.
or what have you in school.
Okay. So
Yes.
when did it change from a school slash hobby into something that you wanted to pursue as a career?
College. I mean,
Okay.
my from school is it's funny because I was thinking maybe going to college to be a lawyer. That'd probably be a short-lived career. But anyway, my 11th grade year in school, I took an art class to fill a credit. No, not 11th, 12th grade, sorry.
Mhm.
And one thing teacher said to me was, "Where have you been all this time?" And so from there, I began to paint. One of my first paintings I entered in a contest and won an award at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore in Princess Anne, Maryland,
Okay.
and it just went on from there. 1977, I entered Indiana State University in Terre Haute, Indiana, and began creating art, uh, painting, drawing, photography, because
Right.
there was all intro classes of the basics of what the teachers were giving you,
Okay.
all the students during that time. And also during that time period, I joined the yearbook staff, so I was one of the yearbook staff photographers at Indiana State. And at Indiana State, I was very fortunate because we had Larry Bird there, a
Larry
great
Bird.
great basketball player, as
Okay.
well as famous gymnast Kinch-Thomas.
All right.
And so I got a chance to photograph both of them, as well as during that time period, I used to work out in gymnastics, so I got a chance to see all the gymnasts up close and personal firsthand. And
Okay.
so that was very interesting as
So
well.
did anything ever happen with those photographs of Larry Bird and
Yes,
Kurt?
they were all in the yearbook during that
Okay.
time period. Photos of Larry Bird, Kinch-Thomas, and then of
Hmm.
course campus happenings, things that was going on
Right.
during that
Okay.
time period that was there,
Okay. So college days, you were mixing the photography with the
and painting.
painting and
Yes,
you just flowing with what was
yeah,
coming your
yes,
way.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And I would spend all night in the dark room just as well. I would spend all night in the studio, work on a small or large painting or what have you.
Okay.
One of the professors during the time, Dr. Charles Reddington,
Mhm.
introduced me to building my own painting stretcher.
Uh-huh.
And during that time, also, I was taking art history, and my professor at the time, Dr. Mayer, if I hopefully I have his name correct, he introduced the class to the abstract art and large paintings.
Okay.
And he would mention, because back then we were looking on slides and on the screen, and so you really don't get a grasp of this until you actually physically see it. And I didn't until my first visit to the East Wing in Washington, D.C. in somewhere around 1979, 80, something like that.
Okay.
When it was completed, I got a chance to see huge Robert Motherwell's or Jackson Pollock's,
Right,
so on
right.
and so forth. I come from a small town, one stoplight. So growing up, I didn't know any artists other than Norman Rockwell, Leonardo, Michelangelo, and basically just them three. Also, during that time period, from a small country town, the only art around was decoys of ducks and things like that. So there was no
Okay.
abstract paintings
Right,
or any other paintings or anything far as artists of color.
right. Okay.
So I, really, I guess it was all new to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What small town was that you were raised in?
Snow Hill, Maryland, small town on the Eastern Shore, one stoplight, population probably about 2,300 people, give or
Wow,
take.
that's really small.
Yes,
That's
yes,
really small.
yes, yes,
Okay. So, but you reside now in Mount Vernon,
yes,
right?
yeah.
And how long have you been a Westchester resident?
Since 1982.
Okay, so been here for a while,
Yes,
living and working in
yes.
Westchester.
Hmm.
Okay, fantastic. Now you just mentioned something about building your own structures
Yes,
for
yes.
paintings. I mean, I think typically when we think about a painter, we think about, okay, he's got a blank canvas,
Hmm.
and he just creates from that point.
Yes.
What do you mean by building your own structure?
Well, like I said, I was introduced as far as building my own stretchers at Indiana State through
Hmm.
Dr. Charles Reddington, and showed me what to do or what have you.
Hmm.
But like I said, I come from a past of building from a child, of creating, like I said, spice racks, wall units, you name it.
Right. Okay.
And one summer, as well, I was at a certain point, from 1979 to 82, I transferred from Indiana State University to Corcoran School of Art. And during the summer of, I think it was 1981, I was creating various sketches.
Hmm.
And one sketch I did, I put a particular border around a painting.
Okay.
And so when school began, and a buddy of mine, Willie Murphy, I was telling him what I was thinking about doing. So I laid the canvas out, the stretcher out. It was huge, about 7 by 8 feet.
Uh-huh.
And from there, I told him what I was thinking about doing. And I put the little border around the bottom of the stretcher.
Okay.
And he just walked away and said, "Barry, I don't know." And I just said, "Well, what the heck? I'm going to do it anyway." And that was the beginning of my
Okay.
shaped stretchers.
Shaped stretcher. So this is the shaped canvas
Yes.
work that I've read about and have seen the photos of.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about that. How does that begin, and what's the process
Okay.
where you create your piece with shaped canvas?
Okay. Well, basically, canvas stretchers are rectangular, square,
Right.
and so the very first one was a rectangular stretcher, and like I said, a large piece,
Mm-hmm.
and I put a border around it, and the border was more so because I wanted to do more so a drawing, almost like ornate rod iron, as you see as you're going down some steps. And so that was the only reason. So
Uh-huh.
it wasn't like I was seeking out to create shaped canvases or anything. I didn't know
Okay.
anything about shaped canvases other than back then Frank Stella, what he was doing in the 60s.
Okay.
And then he just went on to a whole different tangent. And so doing that process, I would do the drawing, then I would actually lay the lumber down on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
lay it out, and then begin measuring and cutting. And back then we had a chopper that we were using for the cutting our
Okay.
lumber.
So you're laying out lumber
Yes,
and you're creating a particular shape with the lumber,
yes.
and then you're stretching the canvas out
Over
over
it
that lumber.
after it's built and put together, the inner
Okay.
braces, whatever that's needed, just
Okay.
as you would a regular stretcher.
All right.
And so,
And these sound like they're pretty big
oh, I
pieces.
started out big. I guess I started big because when I was introduced, like I said, back in Indiana State, to the large canvases in general.
Okay.
And so even back then, I was doing large pieces, maybe larger than life. I always said one day I hope to
What
do
what
a
what's
14 by 14 foot
well,
painting.
okay, that I was gonna say what's large? What is that? But
Well,
14 by 14 is that's pretty big.
yes, I mean my
Yeah.
largest canvas I've done so far is 9 by 9 feet, and
Okay.
another one 11 feet by 7 feet. So far that's the largest, but I would love to go even larger. But generally, the
Mm.
average person who see my paintings, they're like, these are humongous.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
to me, they're still small in comparison to, let's say, a painting that is, let's say, 14 feet by, let's say, 18 feet or what have you.
Okay. So where does it begin for you? Does it begin in terms of your creation of a new piece? Once you're laying out this lumber and then doing the stretched canvas, is that where it starts and then you begin to paint on that? Or do you have something in mind even before you lay everything out?
All the above.
All of the above.
All the
Okay.
above. Being I've been shaping my stretches for so many years, for like 31 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
It started out at the beginning where I would actually do the drawing, shape, everything just in sketch
And
on a piece of paper.
okay, okay.
And then from there, I would used to back, in the day, I would lay out large backdrop paper
Mm-hmm.
and then scale it to size on that.
Okay.
And then from there, I would then lay the lumber down. And
Wow.
it basically takes a whole life on its own, because not only did I go through those steps, but other steps where it's almost like the wood or the artist talking to you.
Okay.
And so my paintings are on various levels, so it's not always, let's say, like one level may be 4 inches thick by whatever many feet or what have you. Some
Right.
areas may be 4 inches thick, some may be 2 inches thick, so
Okay.
it varies to
Okay. So a lot of different dimensions then
and
and
levels,
levels.
and some may curve going out one way or curve back. And so
Mm.
me, I use as hard forms and soft forms to make it plain in my head, far as how I'm creating things, whether I want something curved to create maybe more of a soft form, or something far as the canvas and how it may butt against another area of the canvas that's more of a hard edge form
Okay.
term for me.
Okay,
And so
it's great that we have some visuals. I know that they will our audience will see
yes.
some of these visuals, because it would be hard to visualize, just the end result of this process that you're talking about, because it is so intriguing.
Oh, it's a huge process, and over the years, I feel like I call it doodleism, where now I get a combination of either sketch something out, or sometimes where I start laying lumber down on the floor, where I always have scraps of lumber around.
Right.
So I'm laying lumber down and shaping, and sometimes I may have to leave the studio, and if someone think a shape is correct, but I was like sleep on it for a night. Then I come back next day, and if it's still working for me, I'll let it stay. If not, I'll change it up, and then from there, then I start calculating far as dimension, thickness,
Right.
curves, all those things.
Okay.
It's almost like I'm painting before I begin to paint
Wow.
the piece. What is it I would like to show? Because in some of my paintings, I've actually had lumber showing, so I'm not stretching the canvas over that
All the
particular
way
piece
over.
of lumber. Yes.
Okay. And typically, how long does it take you to finish a piece this size?
It varies. Building, there's some shapes that I can build in a day, and there's other shapes that may take 2 or 3 weeks or a month or whatever to build, and
Okay.
then from there I begin the painting process. And back in the day, I would actually do a sketch,
Right.
build it, and then paint it. Do the sketch, build, paint. Now what I've been doing probably about the last maybe 10 years, give or take, is I'll build all the stretchers first, and then I'm just spending time in sawdust, as I call it,
Okay.
and lumber building. and then from there I'll go to the phase of actually painting.
Wow, this is so innovative because it sounds to me like you've taken what you used to do as a builder
Hmm.
and melded that with the painting.
Yes.
So the two different areas that you were exploring
Yes.
as a teenager and as a college student, you brought them together
As
now
one.
and created these fabulous pieces.
Yes.
That
Yes.
that
Yes.
that's astonishing and beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a joy. It's funny, even the artists, sometimes after I've created some of the pieces and I look back and says, how in the world did I do this?
Okay.
And I'm sure plenty of artists say the same thing because they probably like, what in the world was I thinking at the time? But,
Right.
it's just part of, you know, I guess how I see things, my gift or what have you,
Right.
as far as creating. Various artists create one way, and this is how I create, and it all works together.
Right, that's
Yes,
wonderful. So you work in Mount Vernon quite
yes,
a bit, and I
hmm
know that you work with the council, the Arts
yes,
Council
yes,
there.
Marvin Arts Council.
You curate exhibits,
Yes,
and well, not only for the council, but also you teach.
yes, yes.
So talk to us a little bit about the work that you're doing in Mount Vernon and as part of that group.
Well, Mount Vernon Arts Council, we've been in existence now just a little over a year, and so we've put on within the last year probably about 6 exhibits, give or take,
Okay.
from the first exhibit that opened last year of 2000. What we're in 2013,
Yeah.
2012.
Mm-hmm.
After our time flies. But anyway, the Black Heritage Month exhibit on to we did a children's exhibit. We had a summer exhibit going on, a two-person exhibit with the Brathwaites, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and so on and so forth. To just finished another during the month of January, February Black History Month exhibit that just
Okay.
ended, and just last night, and I uh, uh, more co-curated this last exhibit. Gwen Jackson uh, uh, headed the Women's History Month exhibit,
Okay.
and so they opened in Mount Vernon City Hall. Fabulous exhibit, about 12 or so women, very talented, beautiful show, and
Right.
hopefully people get a chance to stop by and see it.
Okay.
While it's up.
So where is that exhibit taking place?
Mount Vernon City Hall in the Rotunda on the second and on the first and second level.
First and second level.
Yes.
Okay. If they wanted to get more information about that in terms of times and they don't remember the dates, is there a number or a website that they can go to?
They can go to our website. Should be able to get it to. I've always website mvac.co.
Okay.
Hopefully I have that correct. Or they can always contact Maureen Wilson. I don't have her number on me, but I'll try to get that to you after the show.
Okay.
And
Okay.
they always contact myself as well, Barry Mason.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Fantastic. Now, you've been described yourself as a visual composer.
Yes.
You explain to us what you mean by that.
I guess because I feel like I am composing. I'm composing elements and
Mm-hmm.
forms and shapes or what have to create this work of art.
Okay.
And so I came up with that term years ago, probably maybe even before I started doing shape canvases, but definitely after I was doing shapes, and I just felt more like a composer
Okay.
because you are composing, you're step by step, you're orchestrating your works, your forms,
Right.
whether it be abstract, realistic, what have you, and so that's
Okay.
where that comes from.
Who would you count as your influences?
Oh gosh, from the early abstract, who I was first introduced to, William de Kooning, Jackson Pollock,
Okay.
many others, to current artists that I found out about when I transferred to Corcoran, like Sam Gillam, famous black artist in Washington D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Does great work, and it's funny because he does shape pieces as well. And I'm not sure if we started around the same time or what, but he's a fabulous artist. John Michel Basquiat,
Okay. Yes.
O'Tanner, and biggest influence I always say to anyone is just nature itself. Anytime I walk outside or you look outside and the different canvas of the sky, whether it be a
Right.
sunny day, rainy day, snowy day, like what we had
Just
yesterday
the other
or
day,
what have you.
yes, on
Yeah.
the brink of spring,
Yes,
yes.
and
Uh,
so that is, my the biggest influence
okay.
is that. Yes.
All right, wonderful. Is there anything that you would want people to walk away with once they view your work?
My works are definitely a conversation piece
Okay.
when people see them because they're so different. I'm probably one of very few artists, that does actual shape canvases,
Yes.
and so far I haven't seen anyone create them as I do, but everyone has their own take on how they do it, so it doesn't
Right.
make it good or bad. I mean, I love art no matter what, whether it be realistic or abstract or
Hmm.
otherwise, my saying. And no matter who does it, young or old, because I teach, if it's good, it's good.
Right.
And so just people take away just the joy of what I do
Mm.
and everything, and just a way of seeing things a little differently because there's so many ways of creating and
Right.
seeing things, just like I look at and view other artists' works and I'm in awe of what they do. And so it's just what helps as my grandfather used to say, it takes all types to make up the world. So it's all
That's
types
right.
of artists to make great works.
That's right.
Yes,
That's
for
absolutely right.
everyone to enjoy.
That's the beauty of it, and that's the beauty of each individual artist is that they are pouring their heart and soul and their passion
Oh yes,
into whatever those pieces are, and we benefit from
yes,
it,
yes, yes, yes.
and whatever emotions it brings up, whatever feelings,
Hmm.
hopefully all positive,
Yes,
is something that gives us a moment to just reflect
reflect
and to be
to
thankful
yeah,
for that we're able to be exposed
yes.
to work that is beautiful, that is challenging, that is innovative,
Hmm.
and I think your work would fit all of those
Mm,
adjectives and more.
thank you.
Now we want to say before we leave today that we want to come back to that photography because you have quite an extensive
Yes,
photography business,
yes.
and in weddings and in corporate work,
Weddings.
and you have photographed, I understand, Beyonce and
Beyonce, the
Michael
Michael
Jackson.
Jackson, current president of the United States,
Okay,
President Barack Obama, got a chance to photograph him.
wonderful.
True, Michael Jackson, Liz Taylor, the list goes on. So
Hmm.
many, the former First Lady.
Okay,
Uh,
so
eh,
do you have many corporate clients also that you've worked with, L'Oreal and
yes,
American Legacy,
yes,
and so your site has some really fabulous photos, especially from the weddings.
yes,
I was
yes.
marveling at some of those. Please give our audience your website. And if you have one, a phone number, if they want more information about your artwork or if they want more information about the photography, whether it be for portraits or weddings, please give them that information.
Okay. My website is www.barrymasonart.com. I can be reached at 914-649-2399.
Excellent. So, what is next on the horizon for you in terms of your work?
Right now I'm creating, I've gone back to creating large pieces. I
Hmm.
went through a phase of actually creating smaller pieces during the recession, which not like we're still not in a recession, but
Right.
I would call them my recession pieces. So I started creating small pieces from my little button pieces that's about 11 by 11 inches, what have you, to pieces
You
more,
call that a button?
I call them buttons.
Okay. I guess your thinking is so expansive and so large in terms of what you do. So then a button would be 11 by 11.
Yes,
Yes.
11 by
Okay.
11 inches, and that's shaped as well, but it's a minimal shape
Okay.
for that particular piece. Two other pieces during the time period has been, let's say, 24 by 36 inches, a little larger.
Hmm.
So now I've started building large pieces again, 6 by 7 feet, so forth. So I've been in the building stage, creating all these stretches. I think I'm up to probably like stretcher number 4 or 5 right now, and then I'll begin painting those after the building is done. I just finished a one-person show at Horace Mann in
Okay.
Bronx, New York, which was a great show,
Okay. Any
and
shows coming up?
most likely, well, I'm always exhibiting 5 or 6 times a year, but the Harlem Fine Arts Show, I should be back there next year. I
Oh,
wasn't part
yes.
of it this year because so much was going on with the show at
Right,
Horace
right.
Mann, getting the show together at Mount Vernon City Hall, that I was just burn the candles, as they say, at both ends.
Okay.
So I'll be gearing up for that, and then other group shows to the Mount Vernon City Hall, and any other opportunity that comes about, because I've exhibited from exactly from the White House during the Carter administration, had works there, ceramic pieces,
Okay.
to
Oh, that's all right. We didn't even get a chance to touch on some of the sculpture
yes,
that
yeah,
you do, but yeah,
yes,
you
yes.
also do that. But
Mhm.
yes, you exhibited at the White House.
Yes, yes. Had got a chance to meet Mrs. Carter during that time period. Had lunch there,
Mm.
and it was a great experience. It was a
Okay.
great experience being
Fantastic,
there.
fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Barry, for being with us today and sharing your work and your passion. We always love to find out more about the artists that surround us and bring us such beauty. So it was great to have you here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, now.
And we thank you for joining us today. My name is Jewel Kinch-Thomas. This is Avatar Face to Face. And we also love to leave you with a thought. And that thought is that the dream is in the mind of the believer and in the hands of the doer. And you're not given that dream without being given the power to make it happen. So we always invite you to go out and make your dreams happen. And we will see you the next time on Avatar Face to Face. Have a wonderful week.